The Motso Show with Motso.
It is DIY with Motso time, and today we are doing something really cool. If you have a small little business, or maybe you've got like a project that you're running and you're not quite sure how to get your product or whatever it is that you're offering out there, today on DIY, we're featuring an amazing lady by the name of Motso. She's a marketing strategist. She's a writer for Your Business magazine. This is a magazine that focuses on startups, and today she's going to be giving us 4 super simple, super easy to follow steps on putting together a marketing strategy for your business. Good morning, Amandla. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Motso. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for coming through all the way to studio so early in the morning. Are you usually up on Saturday at this time?
Not even.
Is
I love
it?
my sleep. I'm normally asleep at this time.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
came
We
all the way.
we appreciate the sacrifice. Please come closer to your mic.
Okay.
All right. So Amanda, let's firstly talk about marketing. As a marketing strategist, right? What is that? What do you do?
Okay, a marketing strategist looks at, I'd say, the business goals of an organization. And then we focus on how we would help from a marketing perspective, would help the business to achieve those business goals through marketing efforts. So that's essentially what we do.
Oh my word, it sounds very complicated, but we're going to break it down and make it super simple because that's what Amandla is here for. So, how did you get into marketing? Let's start there. Like, how did this field even appeal to you? Was it a passion?
Sure, it's actually weird. I started my career in architecture. I went and studied architecture for a year.
Whoa, architecture. Okay.
Yeah, at Cape Tech. And then from there, I think a year and a half later, I realized that, no, man, this is not what I want to do. I knew that I wanted to do something more exciting. I knew that I wanted to be out of the office more often. I knew that I wanted to engage with people, but I just didn't know how to do it.
Oh, wow.
And then I figured, it was weird. I figured out, I not even figured out, I discovered that AAA was on the same street that I was working at in Cape Town on Bree Street. And then I decided to pay them a visit. I popped in for an open day. And then what they were presenting really appealed to me. So that's when I started putting in my application. While other kids were busy with the architectural stuff, I was busy putting together a portfolio to get into AAA. So
Oh, wow.
that's where it started. Then
That's
I applied
exciting.
in, and then the following year I came back to Joburg, and then I started my degree at the AAA for 3 years.
Wow. And here you are. Okay, so today we are talking to an individual. Well, if you're at home and maybe you've just started that business, even if it's a business on the side, or you've, left your full-time job and you're focusing on this thing, or maybe you're in the marketing field, what is a marketing strategy? Why does a business need it?
A business needs a marketing strategy just so that they focus, or rather, maybe I should just put it in a simple way to say what exactly a marketing strategy is. A marketing strategy is a set of goals that you look at and say, these are the goals that we need to achieve through our marketing efforts for us to be able to deliver what our business goals are. So that's essentially, it's a guide to say, with the marketing team in place, how are we going to get there as a business? So we want to achieve 1, 2, and 3. How do we do it through marketing efforts? And that's what it is.
So now, wouldn't this be something so complicated that you have to bring in an expert? Or can just listening to you now, breaking it down, can I be empowered enough or have the tools to do it myself?
I think it all depends on how well you equip yourself with the skills or the knowledge that you need to put this thing forward. I always advise that with anything, you just need to get the foundation right. So at least if you can seek expert advice at the beginning and get the basics right, and then from there, once you've got the foundation right, maybe you can start building up certain things on your own. It's difficult. I understand that for small businesses or for somebody who's starting out, it's complex because there's money that you need to invest into this thing. So at least invest money on the basics,
Okay.
on the foundation, and then start reading up on stuff. I mean, Google is our friend, so you always need to.
YouTube is also our friend.
YouTube is also our friend. Social media is also our friend. So try and read up as much as possible, but get expert advice for the foundation, and then from there move forward.
I love that. So we are hanging out with Amandla Motso. She's a marketing strategist. She's a writer for Your Business magazine. She's in studio today. She's going to be giving us 4 super easy to follow steps on how to create an awesome marketing strategy that's going to make your business go just a little bit further. If you have questions for her, send them through to 082 550 5151. Avida on 5FM teaming up with Carla Franco. It is DIY with Motso. Today we are with marketing strategist and writer Amantle Mokobung, and she is giving us 4 super easy to follow steps on how to put together a marketing strategy. So if you have a business, a brand, a project that you're trying to get it out there, she's definitely the person that you need to be listening to. And of course, if maybe you are starting out in the marketing industry, her words of wisdom will go very far. 082-550-5151 if you have any questions for her. So Amantle, we're going to get into those 4 easy to follow steps. What is our step 1?
Okay. What I've put together, Motso, is basically stuff that I feel one should keep in mind when they're putting together a strategy. So it's not necessarily the steps per se, but it's stuff that I feel is important for you to always remember.
All right.
So number 1, it's humanizing what you're selling. So try and make it so relatable that people understand exactly what it is that you're selling. Sometimes people go out there and put out stuff on more high level way where people can't actually connect with what it is that you're doing. And number 2, or rather still on that point, but another thing is that people need to feel closer to whatever it is that you're communicating.
So kind of like giving it a personality in like social media terms. Like if it was a person, how would it speak? Or what would it look like?
Exactly. It needs to get that whole personality going. So what would it be if this thing that you're selling was a person? How would they speak? What would they look like? What would they wear? What kind of stuff would they put out?
I love that.
You just need to keep that in mind so that it's also consistent as you put out your messaging, and then people don't get lost every time you put out something. It's like, oh, it actually does connect with what Motso is doing.
Tone.
Tone is everything.
Awesome. And then step number 2?
Number 2, people always say mobile first, but I feel like mobile data first.
Okay.
So make what you're putting out so worthy of my data that I'm going to either look at it, watch it, I'm going to share it.
Wow.
I might just even download it. I mean, it's all about data. Data is a huge currency. So whatever it is that you're putting together, make it worth my data.
That is so cool. I love that.
What if I'm not on Wi-Fi? I don't want to waste my data on something that is not even exciting enough for me.
And data hasn't fallen, so please.
Data ain't fallen yet, so so please mind our data, mind our pockets.
I love that. Okay, cool. And then what do you have for us for step 3?
As number 3, I also said you should link your measurement of return on investment to sales.
Okay.
So whatever it is that you're doing, always remember that at the back of your mind that you're trying to make money out of this thing. You're trying to get in some sales. So how are you going to link whatever efforts that you put in marketing into, or how are you going to link it with your sales?
So basically the ultimate goal of whatever it is that you're doing, it must be that it's going to make you money at the end of the day.
It's going to bring in money at the end of the day, because sometimes we fall into the trap of, I think you probably experience that as well in entertainment, where people feel like, I can also become another Komoto. I can also host another show. So people often feel like, I can also do marketing. I can do this quite quickly because I'm creative. Yes, you are creative, but remember that your ultimate goal is to make the money. So whatever you're doing might look fun, funky, but is it bringing you the money that you need?
Okay, cool. And then what is our last and final step?
Last and final step is to spend time on simplifying your customer journey.
Okay.
So put yourself in the shoes of your customers and say, okay, if I was buying whatever it is that I'm selling, this is where it would start, this is how it would work through, and this is where it would end. And try and follow those steps. Like, try and really literally put yourself in the consumer's shoes, and then find stuff in between that might be frustrating for them. For example, you might have a website and people need to fill out a form, and your form is like 3 pages long.
Okay.
I don't want to spend time filling out stuff that's 3 pages long.
Yeah.
Make it so simple for me to buy from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or like when I go onto your website and I see the product that you're offering, but I'm like, okay, cool. So how do I get a hold of them? Is it easy for me to actually do an online purchase?
Exactly.
Okay.
So when I get onto your website, do I get lost in the first place? It must be so easy for me to get whatever it is at the core of whatever you're offering. So at least simplify my life, because we all, you know how it is in this day and age. We're all about simplicity. We're all all about managing our time well. So if it's going to consume my time,
Yeah.
I'm probably not even going to do it.
I love this. And I also think that, aside from the fact that if you have a business or maybe like a project that you're trying to get out there, as a marketing person that's trying to get into the industry, you can definitely take these 4 steps and apply them in trying to get your services out there.
Absolutely.
Which is really cool. So Amantle is still in studio with us. If you have a business, a project, or you're in marketing and you have questions for her, 082-550-5151, or you're trying to explore the marketing field as something that you'd like to study or get into, send through those questions. We're back with her with more questions. We're going to get more into her brain and get all of that knowledge out. Eminem teaming up with Ed Sheeran on 5FM River. It is DIY with Motso. Today we are learning 4 simple steps to creating a marketing strategy for your business, for your project, and also if you are in the marketing industry. I am hanging out with a marketing strategist as well as writer Amantle Mokobung. And so far, Amantle, you've given us these really awesome 4 steps. Step 1, humanizing your product, giving it like a personality. Step number 2, I love this, making it mobile data worthy. Is what you're putting out there worth my data? Whatever you're doing, it needs to have a return on your investment. That's step 3. And number 4, simplifying your customer's journey, putting yourself in their shoes. Okay, Amantla, so we've got the 4 steps. I think they are amazing and super simple. But now I want to find out, like, why should I even apply such to my work? Like, are there any benefits to such?
There are. Your main benefit is really you standing the chance of standing out amongst the people that you're competing with, because you've applied your mind so much and you've linked the stuff that are adding value to what you're doing so much that people take notice. I think consumers are now no longer they know what we're doing. They know what we're up to. They are in the age of information where they have access to all of this information and they're able to see right through us. As soon as you try and sell somebody and say, hi, I'm brand A and I'm selling product B, people really stop listening because they know it's advertising. They stop listening. But as soon as you say, I'm trying to connect with you and you're bringing me more value into my life, I then start to listen. You know what I mean? And another thing is also the benefit is getting proper word of mouth out there.
Yes.
We're in a time where if you're looking for something or for a service, you Google it. You just get on to you ask everybody, like, does anybody know of 1, 2, and 3? But we're exposed to so much advertising messages every day. We don't take them to heart or we don't even look at it. Instead, we're going to go onto Twitter and ask people to recommend something for us. And then based on what they're saying about the experience, that's how we are going to choose the product or the brand that we go for.
And what I love about this day and age is that, back in the day, you'd have to be like, oh my gosh, I need to find money so I can put an advert in your newspaper or put my advert on TV. You don't need to. You just use the tools that you have, which is online.
Absolutely. Right now, it's more simplified for us, especially I think the people that are starting out in business now are so fortunate to be doing it at this point in time in our lives where technology is helping us move forward. Things are a bit cheaper. People now connect. People recommend stuff. Just by you being honest and transparent by putting out whatever it is that you're doing, people start to listen. So
love that. So now, if I'm in business, like what sort of business or let's say projects would actually need such? And how do I know, like, I'm at a point in my project that now I need to start looking at a marketing strategy?
I think even as you start out, just right at the beginning, when you're putting together your service offering, you should start thinking about marketing right at that point. You shouldn't wait for stuff to just happen and then in between you're like, I think I might just need 1, 2, and 3. Just do it at the beginning. Whatever project that you're busy with is going to need to be put out. And so I think you must just consider it right at the start.
So even the bakery on the side of the street, the dry cleaning service,
everybody.
That little home shoe polish company you've started.
Everybody. It's amazing the type of services that we come across on social media where people are advertising stuff that you wouldn't think would need not really advertising, but they are promoting stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think, okay, I should put together a strategy for this.
Yeah.
So any kind of business, I know it sounds very broad or I'm not quite particular on what it is, but really
Everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
Okay, so you know what I also like about this is the fact that you've simplified it in a way that obviously when you're starting a business or a project, maybe money isn't like, a lot. There isn't a lot of money lying around for you to be like, I'm going to hire an amante or, get a company or an agency to do this for me. So obviously it means that I have to start on my own. How do I learn more about this? And I mean, we've mentioned Google and so on, but how do I learn more about this so I can equip myself?
I think firstly, Google. Number two is also looking at publications that really are for putting together content that's going to be beneficial for small business. I'm not necessarily pushing whatever the publication is.
Go on, girl, go on.
But publications like Your Business Magazine is really put together in such a way that it gives an entrepreneur or somebody who's starting out all the information that they would need. And it's got dedicated sections where we talk about sales, we talk about marketing. So look at publications like that. And also, another thing would be websites. I mean, like we said about data, whatever you're spending your data on should be on I'd say websites and platforms that really are about putting out such information. There's websites such as Biz Community where you can go onto there and look under the marketing section and get advice.
So it's not just for finding jobs.
It's not just for finding jobs, but really they've got amazing content that they put out. There's content platforms such as Mac Lives where they're all about advertising and branding stuff that you can learn from. And people are trying to put together articles that are really so simple enough for anybody from any part of the industry to be able to relate to the content. So go online, look for information there, go onto publications that are relevant, and also try and reach out on Twitter. You'd be amazed by how much people are willing to just share their knowledge and the information that they've got about certain topics. So don't be afraid to ask. Just reach out and you never know what you'll find.
That's marketing strategist Amantle Mokobung. So Amantle, if we want to reach you on social media, ask you a few more questions, how do we get a hold of you?
Okay, I'm not very active on Twitter. I do have a handle at Amantle_. On Facebook, you can find my page. It's Amantle. Or you can also email me info@amantle.co.za.
That's one. Amantle is spelled Amantle. Yeah. Thank you so much, Amantle. It was really lovely having you in studio.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
And enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks, Motso.
The Motso Show with Motso. Saturdays and Sundays, 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. on 5 FM.